Welcome, my Zentangle friends. My name is Emmy, and you're on the Zen with Emmy channel. I'm so glad you're here for the second week of our whimsical month of March. Never quite know what's going to happen this month, do you? So I've grabbed all my supplies. I've posted them for you on the intro part of this. So we're going to get going on this very fun card that you might choose to make for somebody. I did grab some new pens I wanted to tell you about, and I did grab my white, so keep that in mind. You might decide you'd like it. These are by Sakura also. They're called Micro Perm, and I happened to find them when I was with my granddaughters in Houston, and I just think that a lot of them. So they are Sakura. So you'd like to know where we're going, I'm sure. And here is one version of it in color. Be a wonderful present for somebody, and including yourself, pride of place. And here's what I did with black and white, which I dearly love just as well. I always have a big struggle, am I going to go with color or not? I imagine you do too. So let's talk about our two patterns today just for a moment. The first pattern is called Shamrock. Let me grab one of these pens and show you how way cool it is. Shamrock has been around for a really long time. It's by Diane Lachance. She is a CZT. She has made two versions of this pattern. And because I don't know which you might like to try, I'm going to show you both. The first one is based on an X, very lazy X, like that. And then she comes around, she suggests that you come around and make kind of a, I would call that a flux that doesn't close, because you're going to connect it to some other flux that also won't close, and make them lazy, make them use that line. And then all four of these connect. I think it's very fun. So that's one version of her Shamrock, or excuse me, her Shamrock pattern. I've been using this pattern of hers for a very long time as well. The next one is a little bit different. Shamrock 2 has an orb in the middle, very small. And then from there, she pretty much does the same thing. She makes an X. And this can be in any way that you want, so please know that it's a very easy pattern. The only difference is this: when you make that flux go out, come along and make a little bit of an inward divot. And I also saw that sometimes she will put a little bit of an edge on the outside of each part. Now, again, I believe that that's personal preference. So come along like this, in and out, and then close it up like that. We're going to be making a lot of whichever of these kinds you decide you like the best. So if you use that comma, I believe that it's going to really help you to organize your 3-leaf or 4-leaf clover, your shamrock, as it were. Now see, I think that's a little smaller than the other, so I can easily accommodate by putting these on the outside and just making them larger. So, and the other pattern we're going to do is Shamrock, which is by Headquarters. Shamrock is a hoot also. The way I'm going to make it is as part of my stem. So Shamrock is going to go like this in my version. I'm going to make a frown line or backward comma, 2 and 3. And then I'm going to go in the other direction, 1, 2, and 3. And then back the other direction, 2. And I try to have a system so that it looks the same, 1, 2, and 3, as many as you like. Here's how you can see. Now this one I kind of closed in, but it's still Shamrock. It's still the same pattern. I did get my white pencil out here to give that a little highlight. And this is going to work out real well for this middle one. Now my husband says that's kind of off-centered, so think about that. I don't know. How do you see this? Anyway, let's get started. And I hope you were able to download your copy. You can easily turn this into 5x7 or just one piece of whatever the nicest construction paper you have is. Well, I'm going to start by going all the way around. This is a little bit of a routine thing, and I like routines. So I'm going to start by making my X's. And then I'm going to start closing them in. So if I have a lot of spacing, like I'm going to between, I can put some smallish orbs to fill that space. Let me show you again what I mean by that. So I've got all these darling little orbs all over, scattered all over here. I think that's just so sweet. I hope you agree. So the point is, you can't get this wrong. You'll have to lift your pen like I did there once in a while, depending on how you draw. Take your time. Zentangle is supposed to be getting our zen on, our relaxing. You're not supposed to be stressing. Loosen your shoulders. I'm talking to myself too. Oh yeah. You could say the pot's calling the kettle black, right? Which is a very whimsical thing to do. A lot of turning going on here. I am using this heavy 4-leaf clover black line that I created. And that works out real well for me at the end, you'll see. So the pattern for this is a PDF, and it's in the comments section. Actually, not the comments section. I'm able to put it in with the description section. That's what I meant. So you'll be able to find it there and download it if you choose. I'm sure that you've been making shamrocks for as long as you've been making hearts. So this is not going to be a problem. So I'm going to put on something quiet for you to enjoy, because this is not too lengthy, and I will meet you at the end. Cute, cute, cute. I hope you're happy with yours too. I think it turned out really cool. So you'll have to decide. First, I'm going to do shaddock up the stem of my clover, and I do that by doing that comma, or backwards, a C shape really, and then I'm doing it in 3s, which is a pattern that works for me. Now you might choose 4s, and that is a pattern that works for you, or 5s. Lots of choices, but you know, to me this was reminiscent of a rainbow, which I always think of when I think of Irish, which of course we all are on St. Patrick's Day, even if we're not in real life. But as luck would have it, I really am. So now you might choose, like I did, to darken every other one for more fun. And then I am going to put that shamrock here in the middle, like I showed you here. So cute. So I'm taking the edges out of it, as you see, and then I'm going to put an aura around it. It's the same idea, actually. I'm going to make a smallish stem. This has to be very small in here. And then I'm going to come out and make a little bit of a wave. I'm going to go out again. It's really very much like a heart, I think. I can squeeze 4 in here, or I can leave it to 3. And then I'm going to take a minute and go around here in an aura. So cute. Just take your time. Don't feel a rush. Zentangle is always about the process and the journey. It is not necessarily about the destination. So isn't that cute? I love it. Okay, I really feel like I want to put those little center dividers in here. And maybe I'll take a little of that out. Little thickening here. So cute. Alrighty. And then I want to put this treatment like I did here, which is really kind of a Zentangle pattern. I'm going to use a lighter weight pen. I happen to have a 005 and I want to use that here. So what I'm going to do is go all the way across and then come back in an X fashion. This is very much like the Zentangle floors pattern. I'm trying, as you can see, to break this up a little bit and to have them be as centered as I can. Like, I mean, with an equal division, the best I can. Understanding there, you know, it's not always going to work for me. And then I want to go the other direction, whatever direction you choose. Back across. Lift your pen a ton when you're going behind things. And if your pen skips, I think that that's a very cool look also. Know that you can't get that wrong. So then I do like to put the floors diamonds in. This really is a pattern from Headquarters, now that I think about it, called Floors. You might decide you want to put this on every one, this little diamond shape, or just some of them. You know, you could also just put little orbs, beads in here instead of the diamonds. But you always think of the eternal pot of gold that the Irish are always looking for. My grandma was a Mooney, and when she went to Ireland, when she was in her young 80s, she got off the boat. This is a very quick, funny story. When she got off the boat, she went to the cabbie and she said to him, "Sir, where are the Moonies?" He said, "Lady, the jail's full of them." He was kidding, of course, but Grandma came home and told us that story. It was so humorous. All right, so I've got my basic pattern done. I couldn't be happier with it. And now I need to do some very heavy shading and some darkening. So I'm going to do both. One of the things I want to do is with my pencil, I want to get in here. Oh, no, orbs first, almost forgot. Back to the 01. Get a slew of orbs. My goodness, I almost forgot. Get a bunch. We're going to darken where we don't put orbs. The way my mind works, it has to go around and do all of one thing, and then it'll let me come back around and finish it up in a fashion that's pleasing to me. Well, you know how your mind works, so we will be fine in the end. But I will darken this after I add my orbs. My goodness, I can't believe I almost forgot that. I've been so excited to do this pattern with you. I hope it fits for you into your plans and that I did it early enough for you to be able to share with somebody or pride a place in your house. I will do that every time I teach a new class in a new week. I have my little stand and I put my creation of the week to admire in case anybody asks, and often they do. And this is why I have my white pen handy, so that these, when I get the shading on, some of them might get a little graphite, a little too much graphite. and then I can touch them up. So cute. Been having a lot of rainy weather here. I'm sure wherever you are, you're having March weather, tricky weather too. And that's what the fun of drawing is in this season, isn't it? Tricky. And back to the center pretty quickly. All right, so now I'm going to go around one more time and either add more orbs, or I'm going to darken areas where I don't particularly want to add an orb. I want shading, or I want this, see, like in between all these little bits. And I'm tickling the paper. I'm not pushing at all, really at all with my pen. I'm letting my pen do all the ink, just flow right out of it. So whatever you do, don't feel you have to push hard. You don't. You just ruin your nib. You probably learned that, like I have, the hard way. Once or twice, when you forget. We being humans and all. We forget. A little bit there. All of this goes very quickly, I think, and it's very, very healthy routine. Just relax your shoulders and enjoy the process. Turn your tile or your card or whatever you're choosing to use a bunch. I'll set some music up again, so while we'll work around here together. So I'll see you at the end. I am going to darken. Glad to see you. I'm glad you're back. And I am going to take a minute and darken in just the basic one of these. Just the one at the base. I think that looks nice, but you know, maybe try it both ways, see what you think. It's a little hard to tell what I got going on here. Okay, so we are ready for huge amounts of shading. So I really want this to pop, and in order to get this to pop in here, I have to put some really heavy shading on. And I also do want to put this border around here. I think that looks very, very nice. So I'm going to do both of those things now. I'll start with the border, and I'm not going to run down the stem of my clover, but I'm just going to go, sorry, that seems to have gotten itself a little loose. There we go. Okay, I'm going to do a dot dash. I'm going to go around twice, and I'm going to try to make sure that I alternate. So cute. So you see I'm just going maybe 1/8 of an inch off, or whatever seems right. Your work is in front of you. You'll know what seems right. If you don't like it, you can print another copy and do it again, right? But I won't be putting any shading on this side, the outside edge of the shamrock. That's why this nice little border is going to be so attractive, I think. So cute. I'm doing that same thing I talked to you about before, just feather light with my pen. I'm hardly pushing on the paper at all. I'm just letting the pen and its ink flow along as it will. When you've got that done, I really do like to go around a second time. But to get the technique I'm looking for, I'm going to alternate so that the dots and the dashes overlap in a different fashion. It's a little more pleasing to me. And you might like, I don't really have my work in front of me very well here right at this second. So I really need to focus on, sometimes my paper just seems to push away, and nothing's right about that. So as you can see, this second row is about 1/8 of an inch again, maybe, in a pleasing way from the other one, first one. Oh, that's so nice. That's really, really fun. Okay, time for shading. Make sure your pencil, whatever graphite you're choosing to use today, is nice and sharp. We're going to get in here, and we're going to get in here heavy, and I use my pencil like graphite this time, not like a pencil at all. And I'm going to go around real tight. And you see I am working on the side of my pencil, but I am really pushing in and counting on this being very sharp so that I can get this in. And the first time around, I may end up going around twice because I want this cute pattern to have the illusion of being lifted up. to get that, I'm going to have to maybe go around twice, with the first time being a, you know, it's going to get darker each time I do it. That's really what I'm trying to say here. A lot of turning, little music in the background for us will make our job go a little faster. And try real hard, maybe keep a Kleenex under your fingers if you have a problem with that, so that you don't, especially now that I'm working here, I really do not want to get the graphite all over my fingers, because I might spread it, and I'd be very sad about that if I got it in the wrong spot. Real dark. Nice. So I'm also going to go around the center little shamrock, and I want to do two things. One is I want to put a little shade on the side of each of these, and I want to put a little shade here and here also. So shade here, and here. Again, on the inside, here and here. Turn your work. Shade here, here, and here. You may even, and you probably will go around the outside of this little bit too, with a real tight. I prefer to get all of my graphite on and then come back with my blender stump and smudge it all out and see what I got, what I have got, or where I have gotten to. Sorry. That crack me up sometimes. Around. There, that's kind of what I had in mind. Now, grab your blender stump, start anywhere you like. I don't need to put shading on the outside of this, but I do want to smudge this out here, this that I laid on here. I want this to be tight up. I don't want to push it out in this particular one. definitely music time again. I'll meet you at the end.
If I were the ocean, I'd moan 'neath the moon and cradle the tears that fall from the dune. Each wave a goodbye to the ships that set sail, each tide a soft tale of love that's turned pale. In the soft siren song I'd lament and I'd weep for lovers lost to the arms of the deep. Whispering winds on the cliffs hear my plea as I echo the gales and the cold lonesome sea. The salt air it clings like the memories that stay of the sailors who vanished at the break of the day. With each crashing wave against the shore's hush confide, in the moon's silver wake lost souls to abide.
There we go. Kind of take a look back and see what you think of this so far. I really think it's quite sweet. I like it tight like this, and I hope you do too. If not, you know you can smudge it out and push that graphite out into this area. But I really think it looks nice, leaving it tight like it's a garland almost sitting on top. That's the intention. So if you find you have too much graphite on this blender stump, it's pretty easy to get rid of. If you want to lighten that up a little bit, just grab yourself paper, push, push, push. You get rid of a whole bunch of it so that you don't have too much. It doesn't take very long to get too much graphite. So cute. I love it. Of course, these blender stumps are very inexpensive. And this is something that I will use, my Mono Zero Mini eraser, so that I can get in here and push some of this stuff out that I really don't want to get in the white. And if I run into that, then I can push it out, just like that. And then it's back where I want it to be. And let's see, I think I'm pretty good with the white. It didn't get in the way too much, but I am going to use that just in a few areas. Really doesn't seem to be too bad. I'll just kind of touch a little bit where I might have got too much graphite or pen in some of these sweet orbs that we have here. I'm doing a nice job. I want to take the time to look it over. Do a nice job. You probably have this pen. I find that it's a wonderful thing. It's called Signo, and it is a real paint pen that does come in different colors, like copper and silver, and but it's different than a couple of other kinds, in that it's a real paint pen, and it really will. It's a little Energizer bunny kind of a pen. It'll keep going for you. Comes in a couple different sizes. In case you're curious, I do have that happen where people are curious. And on my colored one, I went back, see how I added the white really pops here. I added the white bits all the way around and the two colors of green, and then I thickened in here. See how that looks too? Kind of cool. If you enlarge it, you'll be able to tell a lot what I'm talking about. Oh, it's so sweet. I hope you like yours as much as I like mine. Grab your thin pen, whatever the smallest nib width you have. Somewhere put your chop on here, because this is something to be proud of. You did a beautiful job. And I've been having a lot of fun with you today. I hope you enjoyed this too. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next week for another week of March St. Patrick's Day fun. Bye.